Today we're going to look at where the margin between centralized and decentralized crypto projects lies. We're going to take a look at what has happened to Tornado Cash and the wallet addresses which were interconnected to Tornado Cash and how they were blacklisted literally everywhere, starting from their USDC balance, which was frozen, reaching further to a smart contract ban on various top platforms. And in conjunction to that, I would like to have some thoughts with you on whether the future of crypto is going to be decentralized or centralized. If you just take a proper look, you'll see immediately how shaky and unstable the decentralization is at the moment already today. Because on August the 8th, the US Treasury Department applied sanctions to an Ethereum mixer named Tornado Cash and added 38 wallets that were related to it to a list of specially designed nationals, or short SDN. That's a really bad list you don't want to be in. It's like a certain list of sanctioned people which prohibits interacting with these individuals in any way, at least to the people who want to have, or organizations who want to do something with the US government in the future. This is all because Tornado Cash was suspected in crypto laundering with a sum of over $455 million that got stolen by a bunch of hackers from the so-called Lazarus group from the Ronin bridge of the protocol or game X Infinity. And thus, Tornado Cash became the second mixer to get sanctioned after Blender.io. And in order to answer the question of why this has happened, we got to first figure out what types of mixers actually exist. So the first one is centralized mixers. They do functions as mixers overall, but all the data there is stored for law enforcement in a centralized way completely. And authorities can use it in case of any suspicion and just see who did what transactions when, who was mixing with the cryptocurrency. And obviously it takes away all the anonymity and it's hard to call it a proper mixer. It isn't something that we're going to go deep into today because that's not Tornado Cash. Next ones are CoinJoin mixers. They're used by mixers or even by wallets with a built-in mixing functionalities where a group of users send their assets to get a mix of one another's assets in a series of transactions basically. And unlike centralized mixers we just covered before, CoinJoin mixers aren't custodial, so they don't keep records of transactions and don't keep the transactions inside their protocol. They just split the user's assets in different people's transactions in smaller parts. And those parts are then getting mixed up and transferred to the intended addresses as a single transaction basically. Basically for each address there's a single transaction. Last ones are smart contract mixers, and these are the most sophisticated mixers of all types. And unlike CoinJoin mixers, these don't send the user's assets in one transaction, and instead, as soon as a user sends their funds into the mixer, they get a cryptographic key or some kind of a marker that proves that it was them who transferred this amount of funds into the mixer. Then the same user can interact with the mixer from a new address or wallet where he wants to receive this crypto and basically use the marker for withdrawing their assets to the new address. Also, the cryptographic marker allows the user to withdraw only a part of the assets from the mixer's pool without having to do it all at once. So you can split the money into many wallets, different sums, and basically hide the traces in a better way, hide the crypto better. And besides, these smart contract mixers also work with relays that can provide Ethereum to pay gas fees for the withdrawal's address, guaranteeing that the user can make a withdrawal to a new address without any transaction history or hookup to any other services. And in simple words, it means that you don't have to deposit Ethereum to your wallet, to your receiving wallet, unless you want to get caught up on this simple step. The mixer all does it for you. And one of such mixers is or was Tornado Cash. And the main feature of Tornado Cash is that it was a decentralized mixer, meaning that there was no control over the system and there was no transaction data kept. And naturally, such an opportunity attracts all sorts of unwanted attention to it from all sides. Ever since Tornado Cash launched in August 2019, it received $7.6 billion, not million, billion with 90 in Ethereum. And a major part of these came from suspicious sources and sources with a high risk degree for this crypto. And here's a full list of transactions according to the data from chain analysis. Half of these funds came from various DeFi protocols. That's okay, that's normal crypto, but 18% were received from sanctioned organizations and a little below 11%, so like 10% around that, were stolen from other crypto services and protocols, which was a really bad and unclean, basically high-risk crypto no one wants to deal with, be it a CeFi protocol or a DeFi protocol. Now, no wonder the regulators wanted this to be shut down, but it's not that simple to put sanctions on Tornado Cash as it's a smart contract mixer, and compared to centralized services like Blender.io or Hydra, it's much harder to shut it down with a couple of clicks. because, again, it's a smart contract mixer and the code can work indefinitely with no developer support because it's a piece of code that anyone can launch from their Ethereum node, from the full node, and then head on to use the service for themselves. So since technically a Tornado Cash cannot be blocked, regulating authorities and those being underlined by them now have to guarantee it that their platforms don't interact with the sanctioned mixers and the cryptocurrency that came out of it. And that's exactly why these sanctions were followed by a lot of wallets getting blacklisted on major platforms in DeFi, because I think you might have heard of this in the recently news. Let's take a look at the timeline of what had actually happened. First, Tornado.cash, the website, got blocked. Then the TC open access repositories on GitHub were deleted. Then Tornado Cash developers had have faced the same fate. GitHub got blocked and their accounts were gone on GitHub. Their Discord server from Tornado Cash and their Discourse forum went down. In a matter of hours, there was no trace of Tornado Cash left on their internet platforms, or at least at the major internet platform. And while such actions on the part of the conventional internet platforms or the Web2 side were nothing new, some crypto protocols' reactions that we received, they were really surprising and reminded us that all the decentralized and sovereign internet and money in there aren't that decentralized and sovereign at all. And we'll get to that in just a second, what I mean, but that's only a part of what I'm pointing out here. Next, there was also some other stuff going on, because Circle added more fuel to the fire. The operator of the second most popular stablecoin, the USDC, the blue one, froze $75,000 in stablecoins on 44 addresses connected to Tornado Cash. And the implication of such actions was more food related, it's just news and informational, rather than purely financial, because that's $75,000, okay? But it showed us that they can and will act upon the regulator's demand. Next, the top DeFi protocols blacklisted the addresses related to Tornado Cash, and amongst them were such giants as DYDX, Uniswap, Ava, Balancer, and some others. Basically, all of the major DeFi protocols blacklisted the addresses interconnected to Tornado Cash. That means that the blacklisted wallets cannot interact with the platforms in any way, like trade or leave their crypto as collateral, which in practice brings the value of this crypto down to zero on these wallets, because unless you find another way to sell tokens, the coins, their value will be zero, because you can't do anything with this, and we'll come to this a little bit later too. And as a response to this situation, Tornado Cash actually sent 0.1 ETH to all the major wallets of these protocols that blacklisted them, so they will actually blacklist one another, and for a short period of time it actually worked. However, DYDX then later claimed that it took some manual work, and a little later the wallets got de-blacklisted. I haven't looked up into the other protocols, but I think it's just a matter of time until the other protocols also de-blacklisted each other, so everything now at least is working fine. Next, on August the 10th, the Dutch authorities arrested one of the Tornado Cash developers, Alexei Pertsev. It wasn't the protocol development that he got arrested for, but the suspected aid in money laundering through his service. So he was arrested for being accused in money laundering, not because he developed a protocol. That's important. And it created a lot of fuss in the media. Many people want him to be released, many don't, but let's not stop on this one for now. Let's now get this straight. How can this and similar situations in the future affect us if we're talking about decentralization? What is decentralization? Where does it start? Where does it end? Is anything decentralized? And how can you prevent getting blacklisted on some platforms because you might have received dirty or high-risk crypto, even by accident, not even wanting to do this, for example, through a liquidity pool or something like this? So these are really important questions, because we don't want our crypto to be blacklisted, to be blocked, and so we need to work out our way around this, how to make it more secure. Well, first of all, a few points that we can extract for the story so we can know our circumstances, where we actually are in crypto right now and where we're heading to. First, USDC, they can block crypto wallets on a regulator's demand. If someone's sanctioned, for example, it's impossible to transfer coins from a blocked or frozen wallet. And of course, it also affects really decentralized coins like DAI, since they're supplied to 33% with USDC, which makes it easy for them to be blocked by USDC themselves and make them basically lose a third of their actual collateral, and that won't be good for the stablecoin stable price. Also, top smart contract based platforms or DApps can restrict dirty wallets or high risk wallets from accessing their services, or by just blacklisting them, and makes it impossible to swap Ethereum for other stablecoins or interact with the protocols elsewhere, like leave Ethereum as collateral, for example. Next, exchanges, centralized exchanges, do exactly the same. If you send them dirty crypto, high-risk crypto, they will block it until you provide them with a bunch of paperwork that proves the source of these funds, where it's actually the income from. And whether they're obliged or allowed to do this, it doesn't matter. The fact is that it does happen at this time, and it happened many years before this. And also many fiat to crypto exchanges, so basically places where you can change Bitcoin to fiat and the other way around, they check your assets and wallets and could deny your crypto swap from crypto to fiat if your wallets are categorized as risky or high risk. And there you are, you're actually left with a lot of decentralized crypto, because yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum, at least for now, is decentralized and consensus wise, but it's actually really worth zero. Because what's the price of your crypto if you can't spend it anywhere or exchange it? Yeah, you've got the Bitcoins, you've got the Ethereum, but you can't realize it. Not realize you can't use it in any way for purchasing power. So do you see where I'm going? What it means? Even in DeFi, they can block anything they really want to. Also, the blocking doesn't have to be at the program level or smart contract level like with the top protocols that actually happened right now, but it can also be at the stage of converting crypto to fiat, the fiat that you actually used to buy, to get fuel, to pay for rent, to get groceries and stuff like this, the stuff you actually will be able to spend, as an example. So all this decentralization is actually not. And I would even go a little further and just call the decentralization an automation of a centralized service. Personally, I'm not a big fan of neither centralization nor decentralization because it's just empty talk. These are just funny looking words. The point is that everything is centralized to this or that extent anyway, already, right now. But it doesn't mean that blockchain technology as a technology is going to die out or it gets away when it becomes like really officially fully centralized. It will just be used by more people, by more regular people, by more institutions and companies. So don't be silly calling everything decentralized, because in the end, when you want to convert it to stuff you can actually spend to live on, it is centralized. It's just the margin where decentralization ends and the centralization starts. Nevertheless, crypto right now is quite a good source of income, and we don't want our wallets or crypto to get blocked. And we always want the opportunity to convert it into some real life things we can actually feel, see our surroundings. Otherwise, your crypto's value is like literally nothing. And to put it simply, you need to always have the possibility to take your value out of crypto if you need to, on that point of time you need to. So how do you do this? And how do you not get your wallet actually marked as dirty or high risk, even by accident, when you didn't have the means to do so? First of all, we need to make sure that none of our wallets or crypto is considered as suspicious and we're not blacklisted anyway. How to do this? I'll just get over to this in a couple of minutes. But anyway, blacklists are made by analytical companies based on on-chain analysis and a little other things. And a couple of examples of these analytical companies are, for example, Chain Analysis, Crystal, and Elliptic. They all check the transactions, their history, and basically classify the crypto into different categories of risks. And what they do is they gather data from the digital wallets, from the blockchain, on-chain analysis, organize it into clusters, assign a risk factor, that's really important, like degree or factor to the risk, to the wallets, and create a database that the exchanges and other crypto services then use in order to verify the cleanness or the risk factor of your wallet and the assets related to it. There's also no such thing as a good or just a bad wallet. There's only the risk factor. So it's a percentage rate from 0 to 100. It can be 25% good, 75% bad, or the other way around. So I think you get my point. And analysis is built upon the interaction of wallets with each other. So how they interact, what they're doing together with each other, and the activity that the wallets show before and after owning any type of assets. Now let me just give you an example. Say we have a new clean address. We buy Bitcoin on an exchange, on a good exchange, centralized exchange, and deposit it with to our new fresh wallet. Then we buy some more Bitcoin, but now let's say through a crypto exchange or just some organization that exchanges our fiat paper money into Bitcoins. And it just so happens by accident that the exchanger sends us 30 Bitcoins to this wallet. Maybe they were stolen before from some other crypto services and then the exchange got them and so on. You've got them like as a chain reaction actually. And well, that last deposit makes your wallet partially dirty and raises its risk factor because there's a part of clean Bitcoin and a part of dirty Bitcoin in your wallet now. And of course, I'm really oversimplifying here, but I think you get my point. So now this wallet and all the Bitcoin on it are considered as at least suspicious by the databases of the analytics services by a certain percent, not 100%, by a certain percent, because there's clean and dirty Bitcoin on there. And depending on the approved risk factor on each platform decides for itself. Just using a certain database, it can say, yo, crypto risk factor 25% is okay. Anything further above, I won't accept it. Or anything up to 35% is okay, depending on the platform. But the risk itself is always the same, the risk factor. And yeah, the crypto might be even either accepted or frozen by the platform until you provide your documents. The problem also can be solved by just spending a part of your Bitcoin to another wallet address, because that risk factor will now be transferred to all the subsequent wallets you interact with. It doesn't matter even if you make the transaction to 10 new wallets, the last 10th wallet will still have the same risk factor if it has no other crypto on there before. If it's a new wallet, as the first wallet, it's you basically started the chain of transactions on, basically contaminating more and more wallets and assets stored in them as you transfer the crypto on. So all in all, blacklisting isn't just about good or bad crypto, but about the ratio of assets and the transaction history, the transactions the wallet interacted with, and also about the tolerance of the risk rates to basically cleanness of your wallets by the services you want to interact with. Some may pass your crypto, some may not, and some services will accept your assets, some won't. Depends entirely on them. Now the question is, how do we defend our wallets or protect our wallets from getting overly polluted by receiving, for example, some high-risk crypto on there even by accident? The answer is, you need to do 3 simple steps. First, we need to create a fresh wallet for each transaction we want to transact with something outside our wallet. Next, check the risk rate of the sender's wallet uphand before we receive the crypto. And the third one is split our main wallets we store actually the crypto in the large sums into a few sub wallets for more buffer. So what we do is, first we create a few main wallets where we deposit our crypto in kind of equal parts. These are going to be our primary or parental wallets, our main wallets, and they have to always remain clean, because this is where all our crypto is going to be located. No dirty crypto there. And they're just used to store crypto. That's the storage. No farming, no protocols interacting with this, no selling or buying directly through these coins, nothing. Only deposit and withdrawal and storage. But if we do need to make some of these operations, like making a swap on the DEX, for example, or depositing or withdrawing crypto to or from an exchange into or maybe into fiat, we create a secondary wallet, a new one, a fresh one basically, and then we use our main wallet to deposit our crypto to this one-time wallet, and only then we use the second wallet we just created for any operation we need to do. Because if this wallet, the second one, gets contaminated, it doesn't matter, because that's only part of our crypto. We don't want our main wallets to be contaminated, especially when it comes to depositing our crypto to the main wallet. So if we want to receive crypto, we first give them a temporary address, which we just create. It takes 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds. We receive the crypto there, check the wallet, how clean it is, its risk factor actually, and if everything is okay, send this crypto from a temporary wallet to our main wallet, and then we can just forget about it. Also, a good thing to do is when interacting with a crypto to fiat exchange, where you change your basically a paper money to crypto or vice versa, we can request the sender's wallet address so we can check it up front. So we can choose to interact it or not if it's a high risk wallet. And now, speaking of checking, let's look into how we can actually do this. Where do we determine the risk factor of our wallets? Unfortunately, there's only one free service that I know for checking Bitcoin. It's called crystoblockchain.com. I'll leave a link for you in the description, and there you can check the wallet address before conducting any transaction, making any transaction. But if you know another free basically wallet verifiers or checkers, let me please know in the comments, because I would really appreciate it, because I always pay 30 cents to check a wallet each time I do it. And the paid but actually not that expensive alternative is amlbot.com. You get one free request on Telegram with the bot, and each following one is going to cost you at least 30 cents each time you want to request. You can pay with crypto, you can pay, I guess, with card, or else pay with crypto, and the service will show the risk rate of your wallet you're testing, whether it's safe, medium, or risky, and it will also give you an exact percentage rate of the risk. It will show you why it's risky. Basically, really good stuff out there. And basically, this is how you can check your wallet on its risk factor. Basically, just copy the address, type it in the service, or paste it in the service, and it will show you how risky it is by their opinion. But actually, again, their opinion is used to verify your wallets or your crypto once you deposit them to any exchange. So the last thing I want to recap on is decentralization. Is it there or is it not? Because just the fact that the money is stored in crypto doesn't mean it's safe, like as it was before. Actually, it was never safe because all the exploits and MC Gogs hacks and stuff like this. But anyway, as we clearly see from the latest news, it only takes a snap of a finger for those services, DeFi services even, to block you. Smart contract ban, for example. The second biggest stablecoin, just like the first one named Tether, can block your account without any warning, and just like a bank will do. but you can walk up to a bank, you can't walk up to Tether or Circle. I'm not saying they're bad, it's just the circumstances you need to think of before you're going to use it and diversify. This is what I'm trying to say. And if you're now saying, yo, then I'm just not going to use the USDC and USDT, I'm just going to use Bitcoin and Ethereum, they can be blocked anyway because they're not linked to any smart contract, this is just the coin of the blockchain, you can freeze it. Okay, if your assets can be frozen technically, don't forget about the risk percentage in your crypto, because what's the use of owning tons of cryptocurrency if your assets might not pass as clean in the system in the future? Basically not pass the risk tolerance of any platform you want to deposit them on. If your account will be, for example, let's say contaminated, or the risk tolerance of the services gets lowered, as it is right now. A lot of crypto won't pass that. And you basically won't be just able to deposit the assets on any centralized exchange, but also not be able to sell them for fiat to any fiat exchanges, because the people there are also not stupid. They will check if your crypto is clean or not while making the transaction, because no one wants this high-risk cryptocurrency because it's not liquid. That's the word for it. So even now already, the crypto must meet certain standards in the form of risk factor in order to be liquid, in order to be accepted anywhere, in order that you can exchange it to real money to spend it on something you want to buy. And you also need to understand that any new risk standards that can be lowered dramatically can come out of nowhere, and suddenly clean cryptocurrency can become medium one or really dirty and high risk crypto in a matter of seconds by these new standards. In my opinion, such a scenario is pretty unlikely to play out in the nearest future for us, but in case it does happen, are you prepared? Do you have an escape route? Do you know what you're going to do if this happens? Because there's a lot of talk about decentralization and how great it is, but don't you think that crypto is only as decentralized because somebody allows it to seem, as the keyword decentralized at the moment, to a certain basically extent? Or maybe we're wrong here. All in all, crypto sure is a great thing. It's an area where you can make some decent and really great profits really fast, and it doesn't matter if it's centralized or decentralized, at least for me, because these are just labels, words that have nothing to do with the price. Not value and price are different things, so I mean the price. And the most important thing is now, how can you actually use crypto to make gains, to get a higher quality life, to have higher quality surroundings, basically how to make stuff that will affect you directly, not by numbers on your screen, but actually something you can benefit of. And these huge gains in crypto won't be here forever, so remember that tomorrow this opportunity might be already gone. And think of all possible scenarios of what you can right now, how you will act in this or that situation. Don't be that silly dude shouting that, yeah, decentralization is the most important stuff, because it isn't. It is not. There's no decentralization in any way in crypto right now, and at least for each decentralized part, like the decentralized consensus of Bitcoin, or for at least at now Ethereum, there is a higher level of centralization completely controlling it. So don't be that silly dude. Well, that's actually it for today. Again, my message in this video wasn't meant to make someone panic. That's not in my interest at all. Nothing has changed to basically, after the fail of Tornado Cash, it's been like this for years already. It's just Tornado Cash was a newsmaker that reminded us, oh yeah, it's actually more centralized than we think. And I just hope this video was useful and helpful for you, especially for checking your cryptocurrency, if how risky they are, because that is something important you might consider when working with crypto. And yeah. Make your own conclusions, make your own mind up of it, and yeah, nobody will actually do this for you. So have an awesome time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see each other in the next videos. Bye bye.